It is I, the lady who reads and has kitty cats. See, this is Baji's house. Um, Let me share the live, and I should say, welcome, welcome. Welcome to our live with kitty cats and book reading. Thank you so much for being here. I was still kind of eating my cereal and drinking my coffee when I started to set up the live, and it became live more earlier than I anticipated. But here we are. I think we're live. If you're joining, please like the live and say something in the chat. That will greatly help us to understand that our live is working. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you indeed. I do see the live, I think, on my channel. So I think it's working. Suji has just now come down. Look at this. Suji! And Fuji was sitting on my lap earlier. So I also like to put the live on the TV, my TV, so that I can see what is happening. Hello, welcome to our live. Thank you for joining. I'm gonna write a message in the live saying that you should feel free to dominate the chat. And we're gonna be hanging out with kitty cats. Look at this. Suji! I was eating some Lucky Charms and drinking my coffee. Here is Suji. Here is Fuji. Baji has gone upstairs. I'm sure we can get him down, especially if we move around his food bowls. But for now, here we are. Let me put this over here and let you say hi to Suji while I share the live. And sorry about our rough beginning. I was literally in the middle of drinking my coffee and the video and like my video recording or, this app went live. So you probably caught me at a weird moment, but that's okay. So here we are. Hello, hello. Please feel free to dominate the chat, and if I see and if I am reading the book, I will still take breaks to read your chat messages as well. So I'm going to pin this comment. So today we might actually jump into the book right away because I know that some people are wanting me to finish the book, and they are interested in hearing what happened in the story. We have been reading this book. It is Every Breath You Take by Mary Higgins Clark and Alistair Burke. And we have been reading from it. And we're actually on chapter 50 today. We actually ended on a very juicy part of the book. Starting now. You can probably hear my typing. We have been reading this book as we go live and hang out with kitty cats and catch up with everybody. Sometimes there's a lot of action in the chat. Sometimes there's less action. If you're joining, don't feel shy to type something in the chat and introduce yourself and get to know some of the other members in the live. Say hi to me and I'll say hi to you. Ooh, who do we have here? Baji is making an appearance. He has come down from his royal seat upstairs. Hi, Baji. Hi, Baji Baba. Hi, Baji Baba. Oh, Baji saying hi. Baji saying hi. Come, Baji. Oh, Baji is meowing. Madeline. Hi. Hi, Madeline. Come, 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 come. Baji is live. Let me flip so you can see. He has come to mom's lap. Can you see? He is joining the chat and he is live from lap. So let me flip it back so that you can see him. So here's Baji. Maybe we will read like this today. Maybe Baji will be in lap and maybe that's fine. And maybe we can read the book while Baji is in lap. He was upstairs, but then he has decided to come down and say hi and join everybody, and he is ready for your love. So if you're seeing the live, please do like our live, share it if you can with a friend. We would love to make new friends. And also then you can have your friend in the live chat. If I'm reading the book and you're feeling bored, feel free to dominate the chat, as I like to say. Dominate the chat, make some friends, say hi to me, and I will definitely catch up with whatever you wrote in between my chapters when I'm reading. So not to worry about that. Bubble Candy! Oh, so cute. Also, hi. Hi, Bubble Candy. Hi, Madeline. Madeline, are you still in the live? It's so nice to see you. How is Germany? I believe Madeline is calling from Germany and Bubble Candy, I believe, is in the US. So sometimes we have friends joining in this live stream that are from all across the world. We have people from Poland, Germany, Finland, India, Indonesia, Pakistan. It's good. Oh, good. Oh, very good. We were running a little late today. Sorry about that. I've been kind of tired, and I was eating my Lucky Charms cereal and drinking my coffee. But, oh gosh, Baji, is there a... I feel like Baji sometimes gets into fights and he might have a little cut here and there. I hope not. Let's check his ears. Oh my goodness. I actually find more cuts on Fuji because he's the one who gets, who is very sensitive to being fought with, even though he might be the one who's initiating some of these fights, but he's actually the one who gets hurt, and I get quite worried when that happens. So, Baji Baba, I can't. So today's a rainy day here in Boston, so... Oh, nice. Madeline just said, I can stay up late. Oh, good. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining, even though it might be late for you. Tomorrow we will go live a little bit earlier. Sorry about the delay today. Sorry about the delay. So today it's a very rainy day in Boston, and we woke up and we were kind of taking it slow and going back to sleep and falling asleep, and then I did a few chores, and then the kitty cats got all their meals because their breakfast meals start to be served early in the morning, but then they had their lunch. Then we were kind of just chilling, and I was doing my my chores and getting my own food ready and coffee. And now here we are. And it's past 3 p.m. here. Madeline says in Germany it's 21:09. Right. Germany is 6 hours ahead. So, Madeline, it's past 9 p.m. there, which is thankfully not the dead of night. So, I am glad that Madeline is able to join. Usually, we have people from Pakistan, India, Indonesia, and other places. Thank you, Madeline. Thank you so much. How is everything, Madeline? I wanted to catch up with you. How is everything? Did you go for a trip, or I think that was someone else. I think that was Paula. How has Paula? Hi. Let me Hi. Look at this. Hi. Hi. Hi, Paula. Hi, Madeline. How are you guys? I have fur on me. How are you guys? Suji's over there. Baji's here on my lap, and there's Fuji. He's guarding the whole apartment. And there's my laptop and my coffee. Oh, good. Oh, good. So today I was saying that please feel free to dominate the chat and say hi in the chat. And even if I'm reading the book, I'm still going to see your comments and your chat messages in between the chapters. So don't feel like I'm ignoring you. I'm just kind of trying to get through the book because some people actually want to hear me finish the book and get through the chapters and get through the reading and see what happens in the story at the end of the story. So, and it's a murder mystery. So we want to know what happens. Your cats are too cute. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Paula. Paula's from Italy, and she even likes to teach us Italian. So, Paula, can you remind us what is cat in Italian? And teach us a few words, maybe teach us Italian for cat, for dog, and for sleepy cat. Gatto. That's right. Madeline, I think I saw your message, but then it went away. Sorry about that. Good. Yay. Gatto. Baji, you're a gatto. Gatto. Baji's a gatto. Are you a gatto? Sorry, I think it glitched the video. But that's what's going on. So we're cozied up here. We're having a cozy afternoon with the coffee and the kitty cats. I think Fuji just went upstairs because there's no sun today, as in it's not sunny. They're not in their usual spots sunbathing. And I also had a late start. I was very tired. Crappy Cat Memes says, so cute. Thank you. Thank you for joining. I think you're new to the channel. I feel like may not have seen you before. So welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. We're hanging out with kitty cats, and then we also do book reading. And I always encourage people to please dominate the chat and say hi, and I'll get to your messages in between the reading. And right now I'm just chatting so I can see all your messages. Paula says, do you want to learn more words in Italian? Of course. Tell us the word for sleepy. Bubble Candy says, it's lagging so much because I'm in a car. Oh no. Well, Bubble Candy, we hope to see you soon. Maybe when you reach your destination, you can join us again. Means kitten. Madeline has typed kitten. Okay, thank you. Paula says dormire. Is that how you say that, Paula? Dormire. Is that how you say it? Dormire. Or is it dorma? It's probably dormire. So, yes. Okay. Okay. Paula says yes. Madeline says bye. Oh, bye, Madeline. Thank you for joining. Thank you for saying hi. Hopefully, you can join again soon. Good to see you. We will go live tomorrow, and we're also going to be hanging out today for a while. So, we are here if you'd like to join us again today, and we'll be around, and then we'll also be live again tomorrow. So, there is that. Madeline says, I'll be back. Yay! Please do be back, Madeline. Thank you. So, yeah, so that's what's going on. Let me have a little bit more of my coffee, and then we're actually gonna get started with the book reading. And we've made really good progress on the book last weekend, so we might be able to just finish it this weekend, and we'll know what happens and what the end of the book and the story is. So that's exciting. Oh gosh. Paula says, I have a fever. Oh no, Paula. Sorry to hear that. I hope you recover soon. Maybe you can just rest and close your eyes while we do the reading, and you can listen to it and stay with us, but you don't have to say much or do much, because if you're trying to rest, that would make sense to rest. Madeline says bye. Bye. Oh, Baji. I forgot to clip Baji's Baji on my lap before. Look at his belly. You know, the other day, Baji actually found this really dirty rug from under the fridge, probably from a previous owner of the house. It was stuck underneath there. It was stuck there, and it was really dirty. And I think it was like this fuzzy thing that he thought is like an animal. So he was attacking this rug. And then I had to clean up the whole kitchen and deal with all that. But that's okay. Baji actually discovered something. So, and we do encourage discoveries. What time is it there? It is 3:18 p.m. here in the afternoon, and that is the time. Sorry, I'm a little slow today. I promise to get to the book reading very soon here. I'm just taking a few more sips of my coffee. At our place, 9:18. Yay! So Paula, can you teach us the word for naughty? What is naughty? Naughty kitty. So dormire, sleepy. So dormire sounds kind of like dormant. I suppose that makes sense. Dormant, volcano, sleepy volcano, dormire, volcano. Got it. At our place, sorry, I read the last message. So, Paula, tell us what is naughty, like bad. When Baji is being naughty, what should I say in Italian? Oh, and I forgot to show you that Suji is still hanging out. It is a sleepy afternoon. So, I think it's actually the perfect kind of afternoon to curl up with a book. Hi, KW. Hi, Nifty. Nifty123, hi. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, my darlings and lovelies and our friends. Paula says, Baji non fa niente. Baji non fa niente. That's when Baji is naughty. I'll say Baji non fa niente. Okay, good. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Paula has approved of my Italian attempts. KW says cool. Nifty says hi. Hello, my friends. Hello, hello. So as I was saying, today is actually the perfect little afternoon for a rainy, cozy time and perfect time to just curl up with a book and hang out with the kitties. So we're going to do that and we're going to read from this book. We have been reading from this book for a few weekends now. And in fact, we made a lot of progress. We made so much progress that it actually became quite interesting where we last left off. And we were about to pick up from chapter 50. And so let me just read to you the back of this so that we know where we're at. Oh no, Paula says, I have to go. Bye. Bye. Bye, Paula. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much. Please join us again if you can. If you're around, we'll be around. And then tomorrow again, we will be live in the afternoon, hopefully a little bit earlier, like 2 p.m. or 1:30 p.m. here in Boston. Bye. Wait, say bye in Italian. Isn't it ciao? Ciao. We want to learn more Italian, Paula. So whenever you can, you should speak to us in Italian, and perhaps you can give us a little help to so that we know what you just said. But we want to learn these words. Of course, I can come again to the other live. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So as I was saying, so this is Every Breath You Take, an Under Suspicion novel. Ciao, ciao. So let me read the back to you so that you kind of know what's going on. So Lori Moran's professional life is a success. Her television show, Under Suspicion, is a hit, both in the ratings and with its record of solving cold cases. But her romantic break from former host Alex Buckley has left her with on-air talent she can't stand, Ryan Nichols, and a sense of loneliness despite her loving family. Now Ryan has suggested a new case. 3 years ago, Virginia Wakeling, a member of the Board of Trustees of the Metropolitan Museum of Art and one of the museum's most generous donors, was found dead in the snow after being thrown from the museum's roof on the night of its most celebrated fundraiser, the Met Gala. The leading suspect then and now is her much younger boyfriend and personal trainer, Ivan Gray. Ivan runs a trendy, successful boutique gym called Punch, a business funded largely by the late Virginia, which happens to be the gym Ryan frequents. Lori's skepticism about the case is upended by a tip from her father's NYPD connection, and soon Lori realizes there are a bevy of suspects, including members of Virginia's trusted inner circle. As the Under Suspicion crew pries into the lives of a super wealthy real estate family with secrets to hide, danger mounts for several witnesses and for Lori. So that's where we were at. And we were seeing that Lori is obviously doing things to investigate this case. The dead lady has some children. There's a daughter. She is kind of like the boss of that family business. She has a husband who is the lawyer and also was the lawyer for the will of the dead lady. Dead lady also has a son, a former assistant. All of these people are being sort of explored and investigated by Lori's team as she prepares for the show. And then the show is, just started to be filmed in the book. And then we are seeing that Lori finally made the phone call to Alex and they might be getting together. So I was pretty excited about that last weekend. So, chapter 50. When Lori showed up at the studio the next morning, Grace greeted her with a whistle. Well, look at you, Queen Moran. Are you thinking about joining Ryan in front of the camera today? Lori knew that she was an attractive woman, but she wasn't the type who went for heavy makeup or fussy hair. Today, however, she had put a little more effort into her morning routine than her usual wash and wear bob and single coat of mascara. She also knew that the bright green wrap dress was a perfect fit and made the flecks of color in her hazel eyes pop. Let's just say I have plans after work, Lori said. Grace pressed her palms together in a small clap. Oh, is this who I think it might be? Rhymes with Malik's Duckley? He would hate that you called him that. He loves me. Not as much as he loves you, but... All right, I think that's enough gossip for now. Don't get ahead of your skis, Grace. Sorry. Now the book is all kinds of messed up. Me? On skis? No, thank you. Snow and I do not get along. Thank goodness that gunk finally melted. Where's Jerry? Lori asked, peering into his empty office. He headed up to Greenwich already to make sure the equipment got all set up. Today they were interviewing Anna Wakeling and her husband, Peter Browning, at the Wakeling family home in Greenwich, Connecticut. All the better for me, Lori thought. The sooner we finish, the sooner I can head back to the city for my dinner with Alex. The driver finally came to a stop at the turn of the long U-shaped drive. Lori and Ryan stepped out to look up at what could only be described as a mansion. The Wakeling home was a magnificent Georgian with meticulously groomed ivy creeping up the stone exterior. The estate's gardens rivaled Versailles. Not too shabby, Ryan whispered. Anna Wakeling answered the door but was distracted by something happening inside the house. Please be careful with the floors in there. She looked annoyed when she turned to greet Lori. Come in. When we agreed to this, I didn't realize there'd be so many cameras. We should have just done this at the office. Seeing where your mother lived will give viewers a better sense of her, Lori said. The more viewers engage, the more likely it is we turn up new information about your mother's murder. And the better the ratings for your program, she said cuttingly. Sorry, I'm just being crabby. I get it. I'm a businesswoman too. Do you and Peter have any questions before we get started? Ryan asked. Not a single one, she said firmly. Ask us anything you'd like, Mr. Nichols. My husband and I are open books. All right, so they are at the Wakeling home for their shooting, and they're going to ask the family questions. And this show investigates murders, and they're currently investigating their mother's murder. All right. That was chapter 50. Chapter 51. They filmed the interview in a brightly lit sitting room decorated in country French design. Peter and Anna sat side by side on a tufted love seat, holding hands. This was my mother's favorite room in the house, Anna said wistfully. She'd sit right here with a book for hours while my father worked in the den. Ryan used a light touch during most of the interview, allowing Anna and Peter to air their grievances against their mother's younger suitor. They depicted him as uneducated, unsophisticated, and in a rush to marry their mother for money. Lori had been worried that Ryan's belief in Ivan's innocence would skew his treatment of the show's participants, but he came across as fair, even sympathetic to their concerns about the man. Peter, Ivan tells us that he and your mother in law had discussed a prenuptial agreement. Didn't that quell some of your worries? I was a legal advisor to Virginia in addition to being her son in law, so I really can't disclose anything Virginia said to me. But Ivan was not your client. Isn't it true that he went specifically to you as a trusted advisor to Virginia to make clear that he was willing to sign anything that would reassure the family about his intentions? Anna interrupted. It's not just a matter of the prenup, which only applies in the event of a divorce. The whole point is that we were worried about him spending mother's money while they were actually married. Oh, hi, Hassan. Hello. She bought him a sports car when she barely knew him. It was unseemly. He'd have his hand in a far larger cookie jar as her husband. So you think your mother was in fact planning to marry him, Ryan said. No, she would never. And what difference does it make now anyway? My understanding is that you think Ivan killed your mother because she discovered that he was stealing money from her and that she was going to report him to the authorities. If she was truly planning to marry Ivan, doesn't that make it more believable that she actually gave him the seed money for his business? I refuse to believe that she'd do something so heedless, Anna snapped. Why do you say it was heedless? After all, Ivan's business has thrived. It's one of the most popular workout spots in Manhattan. Well, she couldn't have known that at the time, Anna huffed. Or maybe she could if she saw a side to Ivan that you and Peter did not. Don't you think it's possible? She was confident in his abilities. Anna and Peter did not respond, but the implication was clear. If Virginia had given that money to Ivan voluntarily, he had no motive to harm her. Ryan shifted direction. Isn't it true that your family was very concerned about your mother's finances leading up to the night of the gala? I don't know if I'd say it rose to the level of very concerned, but as I said, we thought she was being overly lavish with this man. The very day before she died, in fact, you said, Daddy's the one who worked for this money. He would be destroyed if he could see the way you're spending it. Ryan was reading from his notes. Both Anna and Penny had recounted the comment. It was an ugly thing to say, Anna conceded, but it wasn't untrue. You also told me earlier that you were glad to have one last day together in peace after that awful argument. She nodded sadly in agreement. But it wasn't entirely a day of peace in your family, was it? Anna and Peter exchanged a confused look. Isn't it true, Peter, that you and your brother-in-law, Carter, had an argument before dinner at the gala? Peter blinked, and Lori noticed him give his wife's hand a small squeeze. Anna, Ryan said, the argument was heated enough that you walked over to hush Peter and your brother. You said they had argued enough for the day and shouldn't discuss something so morbid in public. We have a witness to the conversation. It was in the temple room, if that helps to jog your memory. Anna shifted in her seat, uncrossing and recrossing her legs. The morbid topic was your mother's will, wasn't it? Ryan pressed. She was planning to change it, and the family was worried. That's not true, Anna finally said. Our mother was very generous, both to her family and to the charities she supported. Nothing was going to change that. But that's what the conversation between Peter and Carter was about, true? Anna and Peter were looking at each other again, and Lori was wondering if they had made a mistake filming them together. If Anna stood up right now, Peter would follow, and the interview would be over. Ryan nudged one more time. Carter went to Peter as the trusted legal advisor, asking about your mother's will. Carter knew she had plans to change it. Peter respected Virginia's confidences and said nothing. Wasn't that why they were arguing? Ryan had moved into new territory, speculating about the source of the argument between the two men, but Lori could tell that their theory had been correct. She could see the worry in Peter's expression. He wanted to say more. He didn't know anything, Peter finally said. He just kept asking me if Virginia had spoken to me about any changes. I thought the entire topic was tacky and selfish, so I kept trying to avoid it. He kept pressing, and that's when Anna intervened. Did you know that Carter was dating your mother's assistant, Penny Rolling, at the time? 1 second. Let me go over and show you Baji. Baji. Yay. Baji, Baji. Baji, Baji. Baji, Baji. Did you know that Carter was dating your mother's assistant, Penny Rolling, at the time? Their surprised expressions made clear that they had not known this fact. Penny used to read little notes your mother would ball up in her office garbage, Ryan said. Anna shook her head disapprovingly. Some of the notes were about changes to her will. In many of them, you and Carter were going to inherit your mother's shares in the company, Anna, but nearly all of the other assets were going to be designated to charity. Hi, Baji. Hi, Baji. Anna's mouth opened, but nothing came out. Penny told this information to Carter, Ryan revealed. That was why he was pressing Peter for information. They looked at each other again, but this time was different. They were no longer worried about the tone of Ryan's questions. They were seeing something they knew in a different light. They were scared. I just thought he was being paranoid, Anna said quietly. Ryan waited for her to explain. Mom talked to him maybe a month before she died. She was worried that he felt entitled. Anna released her husband's hand for the first time since the interview began and used air quotes to emphasize the last word. She saw how much harder I worked. Mother told Carter, I'm afraid that if it weren't for the family money, you would have turned out just like your cousin Tom. Mind you, Tom's great, and he's doing fabulous work for the company now. But at the time, trust me, for Mom to compare Carter to her cousin was no compliment at all. Tom was in and out of different jobs, crazy girlfriends, gambling, all in the past now. So when Carter was asking Peter about Mom's will, I told him he was being paranoid. I thought Mom was just trying to get Carter to grow up a little. I don't want to believe that he... She paused and held Peter's hand again. That he what? Ryan asked. What do you think your brother did? I have to tell them, she whispered. She waited until Peter nodded his approval, and Lori realized that the power in their marriage might be more equal than it appeared on the surface. That argument I had with Mom the day before the murder, it was because Carter had asked about her will, saying he was worried she was going to change it and cut us out. It got me thinking about all the money she was spending on Ivan, so I let her know I did not approve. She made it clear that she was a grown woman who had the right to do what she wanted, but Carter wouldn't let it drop. As soon as he saw us at the gala, he wanted to know if I'd gotten assurances from our mother that she was going to keep the money within the family. And then he kept nagging Peter about it, demanding that he lecture her about the foolishness of giving the family money away. That's when I went over and told him to knock it off. We were in a public place. And what did your brother say? Ryan asked. That we... Peter interrupted, and Lori was certain that the lawyer in him was going to cut off the conversation. Instead, he finished Anna's sentence for her. That we had to stop her. That we had to stop her from changing that will no matter what. Anna blinked a few times and her eyes began to water. Peter put his arm around her and waved a hand at the camera, signaling that they were done. Oh, wow. That was something. That was chapter 51 of Every Breath You Take. We'll Hi, Nifty. Yeah, it's getting interesting. They just interviewed the daughter and the son-in-law. They just interviewed the daughter and the son-in-law, and I'm gonna get a sip of coffee. And just found out some more information about what happened. So it looks like Anna and Peter have a good marriage. Like Anna is very powerful and she runs the show and the company. But Peter, the lawyer, is supportive and also has an equal standing in their relationship, which is nice. I kind of liked that. So they're doing the interviews of the family to figure out who murdered Virginia Wakeling, and they just interviewed the daughter and the son-in-law. And they found out some important information about the son, Carter, who seemed to have known about the will being changed, perhaps from his illicit relationship with the former assistant. And yeah. All right. Getting heated. Chapter 52. By the time Lori got back to the city after filming, she managed to make it to Union Square Cafe 10 full minutes before the time of the reservation. This was one night that she did not want to risk making Alex wait. She was at a bar seat near the entrance when she saw him step from the back seat of his black Mercedes, not waiting for Raymond to open his door. She watched as he straightened his jacket at the curb and then checked his hair in the reflection of the glass before he walked inside. She wondered whether it was possible he had become even more handsome in the past 2.5 months, and decided it was. She had braced herself for an awkward reunion, but as soon as they greeted each other with a quick hug and a kiss, it felt as if they had seen each other only yesterday. In fact, it was better. It was as if they had reached an unspoken understanding that any hurdles that may have existed before would no longer stand in their way. Ah, the hostess had their table ready in the back, away from the windows, as Lori had requested. Even before she had met him, Alex was already a public figure because of the acquittals he had obtained for his clients in several high-profile trials. His work on the first 3 under suspicion specials had broadened his celebrity. Now that his name had been submitted for the federal bench, she did not want their dinner to be interrupted by strangers asking for autographs and selfies. So tell me about DC, she said once they were seated. I will. I will tell you everything, so much that you will never want to hear another word about the Senate Judiciary Committee. But I want to hear your updates first. Please tell me that I won't need to withdraw my name from consideration in order to defend you against charges of slowly poisoning the young Mr. Nichols. Please tell me that I won't need to withdraw my name from consideration in order to defend you against charges of slowly poisoning the young Mr. Nichols. The last time she and Alex had spoken, Ryan was insistently undermining her at work, and she was finding him completely insufferable. Lori smiled. Let's put it this way. He still plays teacher's pet with Brett, and it's impossible to underestimate the size of his ego, but at least he's not stupid. Wow, that is some kind of endorsement, Alex said wryly. His eyes lit up as he smiled at her across the table. It's actually getting better, she said grudgingly. He's still the worst host we've ever had, to be sure, but I think it's working out. The only other host of Under Suspicion had been Alex, Lori thought, and no one could ever fill his shoes. We're talking as though the last 2 months didn't exist, Lori thought happily. Oh God, how I've missed him. I accept the compliment. He was browsing the menu. Everything looks delicious. Have you been here since they reopened? Danny Myers' first restaurant remained one of Lori's favorites, but she hadn't been able to bring herself to come in since it moved to a new location. She realized now that she'd been waiting to go with Alex. No, this is my first time back. How about you? Mine too. He put down the menu. I was hoping to go with you. And here we are. Aww. Their appetizers had been removed when Lori finally insisted that Alex tell her all about his federal judicial confirmation process. The politicians exist in a completely different universe. There I was, enjoying a career as a criminal defense lawyer. I would have been happy to have kept my practice as long as clients would have me. Let me reposition this pillow. There. Then I can put my arm in it. The politicians exist in a completely different universe. There I was, enjoying a career as a criminal defense lawyer. I would have been happy to have kept my practice as long as clients would have me, but now that I've been thrown into the circus of judicial confirmations, each side views me as a potential Supreme Court justice someday. They're trying to figure out whether I'm a strict constructionist or a legal realist. I told them I'm just a lawyer who reads the law and applies it to the facts, which is what trial court judges are supposed to do. I feel like a football in a Giants-Eagle matchup. But is it going smoothly? She asked. I can't imagine a better nominee. Oh, hi, Ian. Hi. Hi, Ian. I'm back. I'm in garden right now. Ooh. Well, it's raining in Boston, so we're inside, curled up with a book and kitty cats. But is it going smoothly? She asked. I can't imagine a better nominee. Oh, they can, trust me, but the White House assures me that they don't foresee any problems. Meanwhile, to keep you up to date on another front, Raymond has decided to be vegan. Some diet he saw on TV, he thinks he put on too much weight over Christmas. It's a miracle he isn't talking to me. He's trying to talk me into it. Maybe he can do all that yoga he was pushing on you last year, Lori said, laughing at the memory. After Alex's blood pressure was at the borderline of high, Raymond acted as if Alex had been diagnosed with a serious heart problem. Don't laugh, Alex said, even though he was chuckling too. He was playing soothing spa sounds on the car ride down here, saying he was worried that the trip to DC had been too stressful for me. It's sweet. He loves you like family. I certainly feel the same way. In fact, I have to fill out these forms disclosing the names of anyone who plays a substantial role in my life, even if they're not formally family. My only biological family is Andrew, of course, but there was no question about listing Raymond. Something about the way he was looking at her made it clear that there was someone else who belonged on that list too. But then the waiter arrived with their entrees, and Alex switched the topic to a budding scandal coming out of the mayor's office. As the night continued, they talked about everything. Some new restaurants they had tried, the books they were reading, the worst youthful dates they had ever had. By the time the waiter asked once again if they needed anything else, Lori noticed for the first time that they were the last couple in the restaurant. She looked at her watch. They had been there for nearly 4 hours, and those 4 hours had gone by too quickly, she thought. Alex signaled for the check. The waiter looked relieved, but when he brought it over, Lori beat Alex to it. I invited you, remember? It's raining in garden too. Ooh. Okay, Ian, so are you getting wet in the garden? I love rain. Ah. Alex signaled for the check. The waiter looked relieved, but when he brought it over, Lori beat Alex to it. I invited you, remember? Very well then, Alex said, but that means next time is on me. I'm looking forward to it. Is tomorrow too soon? I feel like it's not soon enough. She could not stop smiling. She accepted his offer of a ride back to her apartment, where Leo was watching Timmy. Raymond was clearly happy to see her and turned down the spa music multiple times to ask for updates about her and Timmy. When they were almost at Lori's, Alex put his arm around her. The entire night had been effortless, to use Alex's word. She was no longer studying their relationship like a project to be managed. She hadn't paused every few minutes to ask herself where this was all going. Alex had pressed her to decide what he was to her. She finally had her answer. He wasn't simply a coworker or a friend, a pal to her father, or a buddy to Timmy. He wasn't even just a boyfriend. It had been Ivan Gray, of all people, who had helped her make sense of it all when he had read his proposal to Virginia. Ah, it had been Ivan Gray, of all people, who had helped her make sense of it all when he had read his proposal to Virginia. You told me I was your second chance at happiness, and I knew that you had opened your heart to me. Where I want to stay with you always, for every breath you and I can take together. Alex was the next chapter in her life. She was certain it was what Greg wanted for her, and now there was no doubt that it was what she wanted and needed. Ah, that was chapter 52. 53 is next. Ian! I know. It's the Alex and Lori reunion finally during this chapter. It's sweet. So you're in the garden. Are you still in the garden? Ian, how was your week? What did you do? I had fudge brownie milk. Oh my gosh. Now we're hungry. And a donut. A donut? A donut? Let me take a few seconds break here and type. Donut. Chapter 53 is next. Hi, 30-second tricks. Hi. You type so fast. I can. I write too. I do both reading and writing, so I can type fast. And today I have my laptop, so I can type even faster on my laptop. Usually it's my iPad or phone or something, and that can be harder. Wow. Yay, laughter. Dominate the chat. My friends, we are reading and writing. I even have a Grammarly editor help that I use for blogging. Ian is laughing. Can you like the live? Can ya like the live? and share it to... Yes. Baji, we can show you Baji. Baji! Baji! Here's Baji. Here's Baji. Baji said hi. Did you hear him? He said hi. Did you hear him? He said hi. He said hi. Did you hear him? Meow meow. Meow meow. Meow meow. Meow meow. I'm gonna get up on this table so we can fix the camera angle on Baji. Baji feels boring. Baji, little boredom is good. Little boredom is good. It helps you to innovate. It helps you to invent. It helps. Bublai, bublai. Shona Baji. Baji, তুমি কেমন আছো? বাজি ভালো ছেলে, বাজি তো ভালো, বাজি তো ভালো. Where are you from? I'm from India originally, but I've been living in the United States of America for 15 years. 15 years. So I do believe I'm from everywhere now, both hemispheres, Eastern and Western. If that isn't that right, Baji? And Baji is from Ohio. That's where he was born. Oh, Baji needs a private moment. I'm a dominate the chat now. Please do, please do. We are depending on you, Ian, in order to dominate the chat. It's not a sunny day today, so the lighting is a little bit messed up because it's a rainy day today, but still. I'm from Mexico. Mexico! Mexico, Baji! Baji, say hi to Mexico. I live in Ulysses. Tag, aha. I'm from Gilgit, Baltistan. Baltistan? Okay. Baji! Okay, I have to get down from the table because it's actually shifting. I was on the table, like literally standing on the table to get the better view, and it started to move. Baji Baba? Baji Baba? ভালো আছো তো বাজি? বাজি ভালো আছো তো? Ian says, ha ha ha. Where did 30-second go? 30-second tricks, Gilgit, Baltistan. You know, I have to Google that. There are things I don't know, but I have to Google it. Ian, can you tell us about your week? Here is Suji. Here is Suji. And where is my Baba Fuji? I went shopping. Oh, good. That's good. What did you shop for? What did you get? Groceries, toys, books, swimming. I love swimming. I go swimming myself too. I also went swimming this week. Oh my gosh. Same pinch. I went swimming on Thursday. In fact, I was going to go swimming today, but I think the gym is going to close a little early today. So the gym closes early on Saturday and Sunday, which is no good. Honestly, it needs to be open later on Saturday and Sunday. Groceries. Yay, food. Foodie, foodie. We do like that. Baji. I think Baji was feeling a little bit forgotten because I was over there on the couch And now he is in the spotlight, which is what he likes. And he is needing a private moment again. So there is that. They're all cleaning themselves. They're all cleaning themselves. You know, they're good kitty cats who clean themselves. What is funny, Ian? Tell us the joke. Tell us the joke. But we do like that you're laughing. It's good for health. It's good for health. Baji. Baji, Baji. Look at your totos. Look at your totos. You're such a good boy, Baji. Baji's a good boy. Baji's a good boy. Baji's a good boy. Oh, Fuji. Hi, Fuji Baba. Fuji Baba's here too. I think he heard me speaking. And so now he's come down from his royal seat. Baji, can you speak Hindi? Yes, of course. Can you speak Hindi? हाँ जी, हम बिल्कुल हिंदी समझते हैं और बोलते भी हैं. आप बताएं. Hi, Fuji. Hi. 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 Baji. सुनकर अच्छा लगा. हाँ जी, हमें भी अच्छा लगा. आप बताएं कैसे हैं आप? कैसे हैं? क्या कर रहे हैं? आपको क्या अच्छा लगा? बताएं, शेयर कीजिए. Baji. Baji likes to get a little bit of attention before I go back to my reading because he doesn't want to be forgotten in the process of book reading. He wants, gotta go eat, bye. Okay, bye. Bye, Ian. See you soon. We'll be around and we'll be again here tomorrow. Tomorrow's live. Do join us. Do join. Do join. We'll still be around today. 30-second tricks. Did not say anything more. You should type more in Hindi 30-second tricks. हम बिल्कुल ठीक है. आपके बोली का अंदाज और आपकी वॉइस अच्छी लगे हमें. Oh, शुक्रिया. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. आपकी बोली का अंदाज और आपकी वॉइस अच्छी लगी. Thank you. The kitty cats also like my voice. They like to hear me read and it maintains the calm and peace in the house. शुक्रिया जी. बहुत अच्छा लगा आपने तारीफ की. Thank you so much. Baji. आप कहाँ से हैं? 30-second tricks. ये कैट हमें एशियन लग रही है. Baji, are you Asian? Actually, they're all kind of like a Bengal mix. So you are right. They are kind of, you know, Asian because they have मैं गलगित बाल्टिस्तान से हूँ. You know, I need to Google this immediately. I don't know this place. So I must Google it and find out more. मैं गलगित बाल्टिस्तान से हूँ. Baji, you have a new friend and they can speak Hindi. Isn't that great, Baji? Isn't that great? Baji. So, yeah, Asian है शायद Asian है, शायद कुछ मिक्स है, बंगाल मिक्स है. एक तरफ की एक cat होती है जो है बंगाल, and that is an Asian cat. So the stripes and sort of these Bengal looking, you know, the Royal Bengal tiger. I believe the Bengal cat is you know, so named after the Royal Bengal tiger. I'm from actually Bengal myself. So I'm from the same state as the Royal Bengal tiger. And so the Bengal cat gets their name from that. And then the Bengal cat, I believe, was brought to the US in some way or shape and got mixed with other species here, other cat types here, and created sometimes sort of a Bengal mix cat. So in that sense, Baji could be Asian. We think that he might have a little bit of a rag doll in him because he has longer fur and these sort of blue-green eyes and a very docile nature. So we have our theories as far as his origins. Whereas Suji and Fuji, we do think that they are an Asian, more Asian origin cat because they're very cat-like, whereas Baji is more dog-like, more docile. Well, you know, cats are misunderstood, so Baji is also cat-like, just a more different nature than what people might think about cats. Isn't that right, Baji? Isn't that right? Baji's a friendly baby. They're all friendly. They're all extremely loving. I do think that the cats and dogs especially reflect sort of the nature of their humans, and especially the human that they are most attached to. So if your human is friendly, they're going to be friendly. If your human is unfriendly, they might be unfriendly. और आप क्या करती है बाजी के साथ videos बनाने की अलावा? Well, I'm a physicist by background. I also have a blog. आप लिंक में जाके देख सकते हैं हमारे description पे. There is some more information I have about myself and my various platforms and content over in the description in my bio on YouTube. So you can find out a lot more 30-second tricks. स्वागत है आपको हमारे सब प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे. इंस्टाग्राम में भी है और ब्लॉग भी है हमारा. लिखते भी हैं हम, तो आप पढ़ें और हमें बताएं कैसे लगे. Hi Baji. Hi Baji. Hi Baji. So Baji, do you... Oh gosh, cancel. I pressed a button that I didn't mean to press. Hopefully the live is still okay. Baji ke saath videos banane ke alawa. That's a good way to put it. He asked me, what do I do other than making videos with Baji? That's a great question, I must say. Baji, what else is Mama allowed to do? Well, Mama likes to travel, Mama likes to read, Mama likes to write. Mama has been very busy with work for this year, especially, but also pretty much all years until now. Until now. Isn't that right, Baji? गलगीत बल्तिस्तान, अगर आपको अच्छा लगे तो आप ज़रूर आना. हमें आपकी मेज़बानी करके खुशी होगी. Oh, thank you so much. I will definitely check it out. Thank you so much for letting me know about this place. Certainly will. हम ज़रूर आना चाहेंगे. आपने बता दिया तो हम ज़रूर आएंगे. आप वहाँ पे क्या करते हैं हमें भी बताएं. आपकी लाइफ के बारे में, काम के बारे में, how are your days there? Okay, Baji seems to be appropriately rested now. He wanted attention, but I think he's good for the moment. So we'll go back to the book, actually. But keep on chatting in the chat as well. I'll read your comments and chat messages during my breaks, and we'll keep going. We will keep going. We're on chapter 53. Peter Browning opened his eyes, momentarily confused about where he was. Then he remembered that he and Anna had decided to stay overnight at the house in Greenwich after the filming yesterday. Mary was taking care of the children in the city. He knew that Anna needed some quiet time in what had been her parents' primary home. Here they could collect their thoughts about yesterday's under suspicion interview. Now Peter could see from the light of the nightstand's clock that his wife's eyes were wide open. She was staring at the ceiling. The clock read 4:32 a.m. He turned to face her and draped one arm across her waist. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "Did I wake you up with all my tossing and turning?" "No," he said, even though he was certain that he had opened his eyes because of her. Oh. Sometimes he thought they shared a telepathic connection. Even in sleep, he knew when his wife was anxious. "How long have you been up?" "Hours. I had that terrible nightmare again." He knew which one she was talking about. She'd had it countless times since Virginia was killed, but she walked him through the familiar sequence anyway. "I saw her up on that roof in her beautiful gown. She was looking out at the skyline over Central Park South, and snow was falling. And then she turned and looked over her shoulder and said, 'Ivan,' just the way I always picture it. But this time, it wasn't Ivan standing behind her." She brushed a tear from her face, and Peter pulled her closer. "Shh. It was just a dream, sweetie." He didn't force her to finish her description of the nightmare. They had spent most of the previous night discussing her worries about her brother Carter. "What if it wasn't just a dream?" I pictured the entire scene. He followed her upstairs to harangue her about the will. You saw how obsessed he was. He wouldn't let up on the subject, even at the gala. And in my dream, she was just as defiant to him as she was with me when I raised the subject the day before. But where I let the matter drop, Carter kept pushing and pushing and pushing until she told him that he hadn't earned any right to that money the way his father had. And then Carter, he just snapped. In my dream, he was standing at the ledge, looking down at her on the ground below, and he fell to his knees and sobbed. Except that was all your imagination, Anna. You didn't really see it. But I can picture it now. Should I call him before his interview? Carter was going to be filmed by the under suspicion crew at the Wakeling development offices at noon. "Let your brother take care of himself for once," Peter said. 3 years ago, your mother told him he needed to grow up. And he hasn't changed a bit. Look at how much Tom has matured in that time, while Carter continues to act like a child. "You're absolutely right," Anna said, sounding determined. "If he did hurt our mother, maybe this show will get to the bottom of it. And then at least I'll finally know." Okay, that was chapter 53. We'll do 54 next. So that was Anna and her husband. So the dead lady's daughter and son-in-law are chatting and giving each other comfort because she thinks, or she suspects, or she's afraid that it might have been her brother who killed her mother. That's a lot. So Ian says back, Yeah, Ian. 30-second tricks says, I'm currently working in the human resources department of a Chinese company as an HR assistant manager. Ooh, very nice. 30-second tricks. Cool job. Very nice. Thank you for joining and thank you for your support. We appreciate it. Oh, sorry. Sorry if you didn't let me or want me to read that. Sorry. I'll go back to my book reading 54, chapter 54. Lori looked at her watch. It was a quarter after noon, and the conference room at Wakeling Development was filled with sorry, one second. Lori looked at her watch. It was a quarter after noon, and the conference room at Wakeling Development was filled with lighting and cameras, ready for the arrival of their star witness. Ryan stood when the door opened, but it was Jerry, returning from his venture to search for Carter Wakeling. Any sign of him? Lori asked. They had spent the early hours of the morning gathering footage of the Long Island City neighborhood that originally put Robert Wakeling on the map as one of the New York City's most successful real estate developers. They had arrived at the Wakeling offices nearly 2 hours earlier to set up for the interview in this room, with sweeping views of Manhattan and the East River. Carter's secretary, Emma, had shown them into the conference room, but they hadn't spotted any of the Wakeling family as of yet. And now, Carter was 10 minutes late for what Lori had come to believe was the most important interview of the production. He was supposed to have arrived 20 minutes early for makeup. Jerry shook his head. I made a new friend in Emma, though. She says Carter was here earlier when we first arrived, but then left to go into Manhattan to try to find his sister and Peter. Apparently, Anna and Peter both called in first thing this morning to cancel their office meetings for the entire day. They hadn't been answering their phones when Carter had tried calling. Lori wasn't at all surprised that Jerry had found a way to learn the inside details of Carter's whereabouts. He had a knack for becoming gossip partners with perfect strangers. So he went all the way to their apartment to look for them? Lori asked. That seems unusual. Emma thought so too, Jerry said. Apparently, she tried reassuring him that their secretaries had just spoken to Anna and Peter personally a few hours ago, but she said she'd never seen Carter so concerned. Concerned for himself, Ryan said, swinging his chair to prop his feet at the edge of the conference table. Oh, look. Suji is giving kisses to Fuji. Concerned for himself, Ryan said, swinging his chair to prop his feet at the edge of the conference table. He's probably eager to find out what Anna and Peter said yesterday during their interview in Greenwich. Lori agreed. She had seen the flash of fear in Anna's eyes yesterday afternoon when she realized that her brother had an objective reason to believe that their mother was going to reduce their inheritance soon. Lori said, in my opinion, once Anna found out about what Penny Rawling had been communicating to Carter, she finally allowed herself to entertain the possibility that her older brother had killed their mother. If I had to guess, Anna and Peter canceled their meetings today to avoid seeing Carter before his interview. Hi. Hi, Madeline. Hi, Ian. Hello again, Madeline. Hello again, Ian. They were leaving him to fend for himself in front of the cameras. Lori paused, turned to the lead cameraman and said, Nick, go ahead and get us started with a shot of the door from that camera back there. Gesturing to the camera next to Nick at the far end of the room. That should get most of the room, correct? He took a look at the digital screen and gave her a thumbs up. Good. I want to be rolling from the second Carter shows up. This could get interesting. All right, that was chapter 54. We'll start chapter 55 next, right now. It was nearly 1 o'clock, and Nick was complaining about a rumbly stomach by the time the conference room door opened without a knock. Carter Wakeling looked flustered, using his fingers to rake his tousled, sandy blonde hair from his eyes. Sorry, I got hung up in traffic on the bridge, he explained. I'm afraid we're going to have to reschedule, Miss Moran. Lori clasped her hands together, trying her best to appear sympathetic. Midday traffic's the worst. Fortunately, I think we can be quick here, Carter. Why don't you and Ryan get started, and we'll see if we can wrap it up all in a few minutes so you can get back to your work? I'm afraid I can't do that. Peter and Anna are out of the office today, so I have a ton of stuff to do. Lori looked to Jerry, who subtly shook his head. As she had suspected, Jerry had become chummy enough with Emma, the secretary, to have a sense of Carter's availability for the rest of the day. I've had my whole crew here for 3 hours, Carter. Please, just have a seat so we can check you off the list of witnesses we need on camera. We don't even need to bother with makeup or anything. They can do wonders with editing these days, she said, adding a reassuring smile. It's not about my appearance, he snapped. I just can't deal with this today. As I said, we'll need to reschedule. Lori pressed again. Maybe your cousin Tom could help cover for a short while, she suggested. That wouldn't be appropriate. He's not one of the corporate officers. His face was now flushed with anger. It reminded Lori of the rare temper tantrums Timmy used to have as a toddler. We have a very tight production schedule, Lori said firmly. I can't guarantee we'll be able to circle back to you. No offense, but that's your problem, not mine. Except we're trying to call attention to your mother's murder in the hope of identifying her killer. I would think you'd have an interest in helping that process. I already know who killed my mother, Ivan Gray. Lori noticed Nick adjust something on his camera. She knew he was getting all of this on film and that the release Carter had signed would allow them to use the footage. She cleared her throat and gave a sharp look to Ryan, still seated at the end of the table, though he had at least moved his feet to the floor. It took him a beat to pick up on her hint, but when he did, he rose to stand. We know that Penny Rowling told you about your mother's plans to change her will, Ryan snapped. Carter's mouth opened, but he said nothing. You were dating your mother's assistant, Ryan continued. You didn't want the rest of the family to know, but you were desperate to enlist Anna and Peter to stop your mother from going through with her plans. Is that what Peter and Anna told you? Carter asked. And Penny? What else did they say about me? He was still seething with anger, but he now looked terrified as well. Lori could tell that the time Carter had spent wondering what others had been saying to them, Lori could tell that the time Carter had spent wondering what others had been saying to them had put him in a paranoid state of mind. She could only imagine what his mental state must have been like 3 years earlier when his mother lectured him about the need to grow up, right on the heels of his learning from Penny about his mother's plans to greatly reduce his and Anna's inheritance. She wondered if he had yelled at Virginia the way he was yelling now. Ryan was not letting up on his interrogation. He took 2 steps toward Carter. Lori hoped that he wasn't blocking the camera angle. You had a heated argument with Peter just before dinner at the gala that night. You told Peter and Anna that you all had to stop your mother from changing her will, no matter what. That money was no more hers than ours, Carter hissed. My father put his heart and soul into this company. He wanted the Wakeling name to join the ranks of the Rockefellers and the Vanderbilts. That was to be our legacy, and she was going to give it all away. Of course, I thought we should stop her. It was damn stupid what she was going to do. He was nearly out of breath when he finished ranting. The room fell silent, and he suddenly looked at Nick behind the camera. "Is that thing on?" he said, pointing at the camera. "Turn that off. Now." He charged directly at Nick, his arms outstretched. Lori tried to grab him, but he was moving too quickly. Ryan, who was positioned between Carter and Nick, jumped forward to block Carter's advance. Carter pulled back his right fist. The punch landed squarely on Ryan's left jaw. Ryan then threw an uppercut against Carter's chin. The impact jerked his head backward and threw him off balance. He stumbled toward the conference table, where Ryan pinned his arms behind him. "Calm down, man," Ryan ordered. "You're not getting that film, and you're only making yourself look worse." Lori could see the tension begin to leave Carter's body as he resigned himself to the situation. Ryan slowly released his grip, keeping his hands in front of him in a protective stance until Carter backed away toward the door, rubbing his chin as he moved. "You are sick if you think I would hurt my own mother," he shouted. Then he shook his finger in a rage. "You'll be hearing from our lawyers. Ivan Gray's a killer. Are you too stupid to get that?" He turned his back and slammed the door behind him as he left. As soon as he was gone, Lori and Jerry rushed toward Ryan. "Are you okay?" Lori asked. "Yeah, I'm fine," he said, wiggling his jaw to make certain. "I didn't see that sucker punch coming. But I clocked him pretty good after that, didn't I?" "You sure did," Lori said emphatically. As many times I wouldn't have minded knocking Ryan around myself, she thought. I'm so glad that he wasn't really hurt. The crew broke down the set in record time and hustled out of the building. As Nick and the rest of the crew were about to climb into their van, Ryan ran over to them. "You got it all, didn't you?" he asked eagerly. "Carter shouting at me, then punching me, and my punching him back. It will be the most dramatic segment on the show." Nick answered with a thumbs up, then closed the door of the van. "Awesome," Ryan said, seemingly to himself as he climbed into the SUV, waiting to take Lori, Ryan, and Jerry back to the office. "The audience is going to love that." It's obvious his ego emerged unscathed, Jerry whispered as he settled in the seat next to Lori. All right, that was chapter 55. Let me put this down for a second. Hi, Swaji. Hi, Mama. Hi, Suji Mama. Hi, Suji Mama. Look at this one. Look at this one's curled up little tail. Look at this one. Oh, and look at Baji. He's all settled, listening to the story. Ian says, "I'm singing Riptide, my favorite song." Very nice, Ian. Hi, Fuji. It's not time for your snack yet, Fuji Baba. And Suji Mama. Hi, how are you doing today? My name is Lucas Winter. I have special needs. Hi, Lucas. Hi. Where's Fuji? Here's Fuji. Here's Suji. Oh. Hi, Lucas. Welcome. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to our live stream. Yeah, Ian, while I'm reading, make sure that Lucas is feeling welcomed. And chat with him, please. I'm sure he'd appreciate that. I hope you're enjoying the reading and the kitty cats and our cozy afternoon Saturday live. Oh, oh. Did you see that little yawn? Did you see that yawn? Did you see that yawn? Too bad our lighting is not so good today because of it being a rainy day. It's not a sunny day like usual. That is when it can be very nice in here with the lighting. Today, we make do with this. Oh, sorry, Baji. Baji, Papa. I hope our friend Heike is in the live stream. I haven't heard from him today. I haven't heard from you today. And we're missing some people like Yash and Sakuna. And I think Paula was here earlier and she had to go, and Madeline. Here's Suji. Baji, do you want to say hi to your friends? Baji is sleepy. A little sleepy baby. Yes. Hi, Lucas. Hopefully, Lucas is feeling entertained and getting some... Heike! Listen to reading. Okay. All right, Heike. We'll keep going. You have just encouraged me. Fuji? Fuji has moved the bowl. Oh my God. Now there's a pool of water in the kitchen floor. It's okay. Fuji, no baby. I'm just getting a little water and then I'm going back to the reading. Because Heike is listening to the reading. Hi. 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 All right, sorry about all that. Okay. Hi, Baji. All right. Chapter 56, guys. Get ready. Lori stepped back from the whiteboard and admired their handiwork. She and Jerry had been working feverishly for the last 2 hours. This has to be a record, she announced. Is it possible? More than possible. Jerry rose from the conference table and held up his right hand for a high five, which she returned. We're done filming. They had storyboarded the entire episode, scene by scene. Between the glamour of the Metropolitan Museum's Party of the Year and the intrigue of the case, Lori was certain they had another hit on their hands. They had also unearthed new evidence about Virginia's intention to reduce her family's inheritance and her son Carter's agitation about her plans. Still, it was in Lori's nature to search for additional avenues of investigation. She knew it was unrealistic to expect to solve the case every time, but she couldn't help feeling a sense of disappointment. If they stopped at this point, Ivan Gray would continue to live under suspicion, and now, so would Carter Wakeling. Even poor Anna and Peter were implicated to some extent because they never told anyone about Carter's concerns over the will. They had not knowingly aided a killer, but they had placed the family's reputation over the integrity of the original investigation. I'll get to work on a rough edit, Jerry said. Drinks after work to celebrate? Can I take a rain check for next week? I'm already booked tonight. She was seeing Alex again. The thought of it put a smile on her face. In the meantime, she had a phone call to make. Her father picked up on the second ring. Hey, Dad, do you have time for me to bend your ear with a work question? Always. Lori, Timmy, and Leo all shared locations with one another through their cell phones. She had already checked before calling to make sure that Leo was back from picking up Timmy from school. He'd be happy to watch his grandson for a second night in a row, and he was thrilled when he heard that he'd be doing it so Lori could join Alex again. The good news is that we definitely got under Carter Wakeling's skin today. He showed up an hour late for his interview and tried to back out. When we confronted him with what we knew about his relationship with Penny and his mother's plans for the estate, he flipped his lid and took a swing at Ryan. It was a really hard punch. He was really out of control. Lori, in his state of mind, he could easily turn on you. I realized that. He could attack me or someone else. I saw a side to him today that was frightening and volatile. He was demanding to know what we had been told by Anna, Peter, and Penny. My main worry is about you, Leo said quickly, but I agree that the others also might be in danger. Dad, I can't decide what to do. On the one hand, I want to keep a lid on the developments in our investigation until the episode airs. On the other, I certainly would never forgive myself if someone got hurt because I didn't reveal a possible threat. Aw, look at Baji. Ian says BRB, Burger King. Okay, see you, Ian. I realized that. On the other hand, I certainly would never forgive myself if someone got hurt because I didn't reveal a possible threat. Trust me on this one, Leo counseled. Your show would take a major publicity hit if something bad happened while you sat on evidence, and the police might never cooperate with you again. He didn't need to spell out another consideration. Lori knew how Leo's reputation in law enforcement had helped her build good working relationships with the police. In exchange, she had a responsibility to be more forthcoming with them than other journalists might be. Yeah, he is. He is cute. Can I make a suggestion? Leo asked. What if I call Johnny Hunn and give him a heads up about what you've learned? He can weigh the new information in the context of the full investigation and decide what to do from there. He seems like a trustworthy person to me. It didn't take Lori long to agree that the suggestion to include Detective Hunn was sound. She doubted he would leak anything to other media outlets, and ultimately what mattered was the safety of potential witnesses. If Carter was a killer who feared imminent exposure, he could be dangerous. Sounds good, Dad. Let me know how it goes, and thanks. Happy to help. The only thing I ask in exchange is that you enjoy yourself tonight. Aw. She hung up, knowing that it would be an easy promise to keep. When she was off the phone, she finally had time to sort through the snail mail waiting in the in tray on her desk from that morning. She found a brown mailing envelope addressed to her from the probate court. She ran her letter opener across the seal as she walked to her office door and asked Grace if she could check whether Ryan was free. He had been the one to request a copy of Robert Wakeling's will to compare against Virginia's. His legal experience would come in handy during the review. Grace shook her head. I saw him hopping onto the elevator when I went to use the copier. My guess is that he couldn't wait to tell Ivan about his impromptu boxing match with Carter Wakeling. Lori rolled her eyes. Ryan had done a good job of appearing objective on camera, but she worried about his loyalty to Ivan off camera. Yeah. All right, that was chapter 56. We'll do 57 next. Hi, Fuji. Hi, Suji. I'm gonna sit and do 57 next. Chapter 57. Lori returned to the conference table in her office and removed the papers from the mailing envelope. As she had expected, the envelope contained the joint will of Robert and Virginia Vakeling, which went into probate when Robert passed away. Next, she flipped open the binder she had received from Johnny Hunn and found a copy of Virginia's will as it existed when she died. She was already familiar with Virginia's estate. She also knew the distribution of assets that had occurred when Robert passed away. Half of the shares in the corporation went to Virginia, a quarter went to each child, and the remainder of the estate passed to Virginia. What piqued Lori's curiosity were the subsequent pages in the joint will, which addressed what would have happened in the unlikely event that both Robert and Virginia passed simultaneously. Lori had taken out a notebook to keep track of any discrepancies between Virginia's will and the joint will in the event that the married couple had passed together. The similarities were striking, which was not surprising to Lori. When she and Greg had created a will right after Timmy was born, the terms were simple. If one departed, the other inherited everything. If they happened to pass at the same time, the situation was more complicated, involving Leo and some family friends to take care for Timmy. When Lori unexpectedly found herself a widow, her lawyer took the backup will, the plan if both she and Greg departed together, and used it as the roadmap for her own individual will. Let me push this. Now that she was comparing Virginia's will to the will she had signed with her husband while he was still alive, she could see that Virginia had used the same approach. Virginia's will relied on the same terms as the joint will in the event that they both died together. Lori was doing a second scan of all the numbers when she realized there was one significant difference. In the joint will, Robert's nephew Tom would have inherited $250,000 cash. In the event that both Robert and Virginia departed at the same time. Because Robert predeceased Virginia, that condition never came to pass, and Virginia inherited almost everything. But while Virginia's own will tended to cut and paste terms from the previous joint will, she had made one change. When she died, Tom's interest was reduced from $250,000 to $50,000. Lori wrote the two numbers side by side on her legal pad, wondering what the change meant. Given that Virginia was worth $200 million plus half of the value of the corporation when she was killed, the change was a small percentage of the money that was at stake. On the other hand, most people would consider either amount significant, and the 80% reduction to her nephew was a notable alteration. This was the only revision she had made, and it seemed obvious that she must have had a reason for it. Hi, Baji. Lori closed her eyes, trying to imagine what it would be like to be a person with that much wealth at stake. When she opened them, she firmly believed that if she had been Virginia, the only reason she would have reduced a nephew's inheritance and no one else's was if she did not trust the nephew with money. She thought again about Anna's recollection of the arguments Virginia had had with her children before she was murdered. She had told Carter that he needed to grow up, that he was still playing the field and not working hard enough at the company, According to Anna, her mother told Carter, "I'm afraid that if it weren't for the family money, you would have turned out just like your cousin Tom." Lori had eliminated Tom as a suspect after confirming his alibi with Tiffany, but she wanted to be absolutely certain that she wasn't overlooking anything before finalizing their special. She went to her desk, picked up the phone, and dialed Anna Wakeling's cell number. Anna sounded apprehensive when she answered. "What happened today? Please tell me that my brother didn't do this." "It didn't go very well," Lori said. "He didn't confess, but he was very defensive." "Does he know what Peter and I told you?" "Yes." "I'm sorry, Anna, but it's part of the process we use. Are you afraid of your brother?" "No, at least I don't think so. I just wish I knew for certain. It's been hard enough. It's been hard enough to live without closure. But I always told myself it was just a matter of time before the police could build a case against Ivan. Now I don't know what to believe." Lori knew any consolation she offered would sound hollow. "All I can say is that we're doing everything we can to get at the truth." "To that end, I was hoping to ask you one more question about your cousin Tom." She explained what she had learned about the very small inheritance Tom had received from Virginia. "When your father was alive, the plan was to leave Tom $250,000. My father had a running feud with his brother, but he had a soft spot for Tom. I think he blamed his brother for Tom's lack of focus in his younger years. My mother was less sympathetic. She saw Tom as always having his hand out when it came to our family. I can't say I'm surprised that she changed what Daddy had planned. Granted, the $50,000 that Tom inherited was a great deal of money to him, given where he was 3 years ago, but Carter and I still felt guilty. That's why we decided to give him a job at the company when he asked. We've all moved on where he was 3 years ago." Anna had previously mentioned Tom's lack of regular employment and penchant for gambling. "I hate to ask you this, Anna, after the questions we have also raised about Carter, but do you think there's any possibility that Tom did this?" "No, but I said the same thing about Carter. Until yesterday. My recollection is that he and his date were sneaking around the portraits gallery. That woman was a bit eccentric, but I don't see why she'd lie to the police for him. Did you talk to her?" "I did," Lori said. "She confirmed that she was with Tom the whole time." "Well, at least I don't need to suspect him," Anna said sadly, still concerned about her brother. "Please promise me that if you learn something about Carter one way or the other, that you'll let me know." "I will," Lori promised. So that was chapter 57. I like a murder mystery. That's why I'm reading it. And some people in the live also like them. It's fun. हमें अच्छा लगा इसीलिए. All right, so that's chapter 57. We'll do 58 next. Detective Johnny Hunn hung up his phone and thought about what he had just learned from Leo Farley. Anna Wakeling and her husband, Peter, had never told the police about Carter's insistence just hours before the murder on stopping their mother from changing her will. In fact, this was the first time anyone other than Ivan Gray had mentioned the possibility that Virginia had such plans. If he had gotten this tip under any other circumstance, Hunn would probably have arranged to re-interview all the relevant witnesses immediately. But Leo Farley had given Hunn his professional opinion that he should allow his daughter Lori to continue investigating on her own for now, because she didn't work for the government she didn't have to comply with rules like Miranda warnings and was able to persuade witnesses to disclose information they might not hand over to the police. Hun had to admit that Lori had made a break in the case after only 2 weeks, after it had been sitting cold for nearly 3 years. On the other hand, Hun was worried about Carter's state of mind. A man who was volatile enough to take a swing at the host of a national television program might seek retaliation or worse against any witnesses who could implicate him. He tapped his fingers against his fiberboard-topped desk, weighing his options. Aw. According to Leo, Carter was at the office of Wakeling Development as of earlier this afternoon. He Googled the address of the building in Long Island City and grabbed his coat from the back of his chair. He'd tried to get a bead on Carter leaving the office.
I found a few places near Long Island City.
Oh my God. Are you serious? Hey, Google, can you pause? So I've been... Oh my God. Hey, Google, can you please stop? Thank you. Jesus, I'm reading out to you, and Google started talking and interrupting my reading. All right, I'm going to read that last paragraph again. He tapped his fingers against his fiberboard-topped desk, weighing his options. According to Leo, Carter was at the office of Wakeling Development as of earlier this afternoon. He Googled the address of the building in Long Island City and grabbed his coat from the back of his... Oh, that's why that word is in the sentence. I'm not going to say it, otherwise Google will start... Oh, God. Talking again. He searched the address of the building in Long Island City and grabbed his coat from the back of his chair. He'd try to get a bead on Carter leaving the office and follow him from there, just in case. I am just... Oh, my God. All right, that was chapter 58. I said the name of a search engine in the sentence, and that search engine's device started talking in the middle of my reading. Yay. But that was chapter 58. Thank you for being here. Chapter 59 now, please. Mommy, I'm so glad you and Daddy are home now. Vanessa bounced onto the sofa next to Anna. This was the third time her daughter had mentioned missing her last night, when she and Peter had stayed at the family estate in Connecticut. Meanwhile, her big brother, Robbie, was completely unfazed by their absence and had hopped straight to his video games when he got home from school. I missed you too, sweetie, Anna said, giving her daughter a quick hug. Then, in an instant, Vanessa was running off to the kitchen again to help Kara put away the groceries. She wished her mother and father had lived long enough to know how kind and happy their grandchildren were. She looked at her watch. It was 5 o'clock. Her cousin Tom would surely still be at his desk. He was always one of the first to arrive and the last to leave. Fuji kole ashbe? Okay. Sure enough, he picked up his office phone after 2 rings. Did you and Peter have fun on your hooky day? He asked. When she had called in this morning to clear her calendar, she had asked Tom to cover a site inspection for her on a project they were launching in Astoria. She had told him that she and Peter needed a personal day, not mentioning that she was trying to avoid Carter. Now that she was back in the city, her concerns about her brother felt like a temporary case of insanity. Ivan Gray killed her mother. She was certain of it, and she wasn't going to let some television program get into her head again. I wouldn't exactly call it fun, she said. Those people from Under Suspicion were in the office today to interview Carter. After dealing with them yesterday, I was happy to avoid them. Carter looked upset this afternoon, Tom said. I asked him what was wrong, but he huffed away to his office. I wonder if the show's producers got under his skin as well. Anna was too drained to discuss the roller coaster of emotions she had been experiencing since that first phone call from Lori Moran. He's probably angry at me for deciding it would be better for the family reputation to cooperate with the program. It's been much more intrusive than I ever imagined. They really do turn over every stone. Can you believe they were even asking me about that wacky woman you brought to the party that night? Can you believe that they were even asking me about the wacky woman you brought to the party that night? Tiffany? That's the one. They were even asking about you. Weird. That female producer spoke to me one time in the office, and then I never heard from her again. We should all be so lucky, Anna said wryly. Anyway, I was just calling to see if there were any problems at the site inspection today. Absolutely not, Tom asserted firmly. Thank you, Tom. Truly, sometimes I don't know what I'd do at work without you. In truth, she thought Tom brought more to the table at Wakeling Development than her own brother, but she pushed away the thought. She was still ashamed for even entertaining the possibility of Carter being involved in their mother's murder. Anytime, Anna, you have nothing to worry about. Fuji! Aww. Oh, Fuji. Oh, Fuji. Yes, Fuji. Yes. You can bring your toy. Yes, Fuji. Alright, that was chapter 59. We'll do 60 next. Fuji's playing. Oh, my baby. Fuji's playing. Fuji is playing. Good job, Fuji. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness, Fuji. Oh, that's so cute. He brings me his toy. All right, I'm going to read chapter 60. It's a very short one, so hang tight. Penny recognized the number. The second time he had called in the last week after almost 3 years of silence. Hello, she said, trying to sound nonchalant. Hi, Penny. It's Carter Wakeling. His voice was quiet, even deliberate. Penny found herself straightening the blue blazer draped over her dress. She couldn't remember a time when Carter had addressed her so formally. Why are you calling me? She asked, trying to sound impersonal. Did you speak with the people from Under Suspicion? She was tempted to deny it, but assumed he could learn the inside details of the production. Choosing her words carefully, she said, "It was a quick chat. I think they wanted a few words from your mom's former assistant." She spoke the last two words as if they were poison. I know you talked about my mother's notes and her will, didn't you? What was she hearing in his voice? Anger at her? Yes, I did. There was no reason not to, Penny said. Or was there? There was a long silence. Then Carter said, Penny, I have to see you. Where are you? I'll pick you up. Penny wanted to hear what Carter had to say, but she did not want to be alone with him in his car. Let's do it this way. Meet me in an hour for a cup of coffee at Legrain Cafe in Chelsea on 9th Avenue. Carter quickly agreed. When she ended the call, Penny realized that there had been something different in Carter's voice, as though he was trying to hold himself in control. Why? And had he possibly been the one who followed his mother up to the roof that night? That was chapter 60. Oh my gosh. So Carter just called Penny and wanted to meet her after he had been so upset. I wouldn't meet him. Penny, don't meet him. But it seems like Penny made plans to meet him. Ah, Fuji's playing. They made plans. I would not meet him, Penny. Oh, dear God. I'm worried for Penny. I'm a little worried. What if there's a second murder and it's Penny? All right. Chapter 61. Lori was at her desk, surfing the web, when she got a text from her father. I called Hun and filled him in. I think he appreciated being kept in the loop. Seemed to take a wait-and-see approach. Fingers crossed. She typed a quick thank you and hit send. Dad has done enough work for my show to be credited as a consultant, she thought. But he swears the last thing he wants is to have to put up with Brett Young. She returned her attention to her computer screen. She was looking at Tom Wakeling's Facebook posts from 3 years earlier. Here, I'll put the phone, I'll go like this. She returned her attention to her computer screen. She was looking at Tom Wakeling's Facebook posts from 3 years earlier. Just hours before his aunt Virginia was murdered, he had posted a selfie from the red carpet of the Met Gala, just hanging out with the other celebrities in my tuxedo, read the caption. The fact that Virginia had overridden her husband's desire to leave a more sizable inheritance to his nephew was still nagging at Lori. Virginia had been toying with the idea of leaving everything except the company to the charity, but this initial decision to reduce only Tom's inheritance struck her as different. It wasn't philosophical. It was personal, specific to her nephew. Now that Lori was learning about the old Tom from his previous social media posts, she was beginning to understand why Virginia might have been unwilling to trust Tom with significant amounts of money. Even from what Lori could glean from Facebook, it seemed that Tom went to casinos in Atlantic City and Connecticut at least twice a month. She remembered Anna mentioning Tom's gambling habit. He could have been in debt from gambling. The $50,000 he inherited when his aunt died wasn't much compared to the Wakelings' worth, but it might have been enough to dig him out of a hole. And once his cousins had sole control over the corporation, they had been willing to give him a chance with a job, in which he was now a trusted insider. Her thoughts were pulled away by the sound of her phone. Alex's name was on the screen. Hello, Your Honor. I'm looking forward to dinner tonight. Me too. That's why I was calling. We have a 7 o'clock reservation at Maria, if that's acceptable to you. Because Lori had planned yesterday's evening, Alex had insisted on making the arrangements for tonight. Better than acceptable. It was the restaurant where they had had their first dinner alone. Oh, should I pick you up? I'm not sure where I'll be coming from. I was going to try to swing home to see Timmy if I have time, but I may leave straight from here. It was already 5 o'clock. I went down the rabbit hole of a witness's old social media posts. Something's bothering me, and I just can't let it go. Oh boy, that doesn't sound like you at all, he said, laughing. Do you want me to push the dinner late? Not at all, but let's plan to meet there. She knew this entire conversation would be yet another reminder to Alex that a relationship with her was more complicated than dating a woman without a busy career and a young son. Sounds good, he said. Can't wait. I want to read that again. She knew this entire conversation would be yet another reminder to Alex that a relationship with her was more complicated than dating a woman without a busy career and a young son. Sounds good, he said. Can't wait, she said. Once Lori was off the phone, her thoughts turned back to Tom Wakeling. She told herself again that it was time to let it go. Tiffany had been absolutely certain that Tom was with her the entire night. As Anna had noted, Tiffany was eccentric, but she had no reason to lie for a man she had only gone out with twice, 3 years earlier. And then Lori realized that an explanation for the alarm that night might have been sitting in front of her the entire time. How many times had Ivan and the Wakeling family mentioned Tiffany's crazy stories the night of the gala? She had been rambling about her grandmother, the cabaret performer, the one who supposedly had an affair with President Kennedy, and in Tiffany's view deserved to have a dress of her own among the First Lady's exhibit. Did Tiffany have a reason to lie about being Tom all night, but not to protect Tom? If she had stolen the bracelet and set off the alarm, she was protecting herself. Tom might not have been an alibi for the time of the murder. Tom might not have an alibi for the time of the murder. This was probable, or at least possible. Ah, see? I knew that, Tiffany. I knew something was going on with that Tiffany girl. It could be. It could be. We don't know yet. Let me read this whole thing again. All right. Did Tiffany have a reason to lie about being with Tom all night, but not to protect Tom? If she had stolen the bracelet and set off the alarm, she was protecting herself. Tom might not have an alibi for the time of the murder. This was probable, or at least possible. Ah, right, because Tom would have been with Tiffany, but then that alarm had went off right before the murder. So if Tiffany was doing that, then Tom would be finally free and able to go murder his aunt if he wanted to, I suppose. But how do I get Tiffany to admit to that? Lori asked herself. She had an idea how to get Tiffany to open up. She called the number Tiffany had provided for her home. Tiffany answered on the second ring. Tiffany, it's Lori Moran from Under Suspicion. I just wanted to thank you once again for your participation and to let you know that we'll be airing our episode on Valentine's Day. I wanted to send you a swag bag from the studio as a small token of our appreciation. What's your address so I can get it in the mail to you? Given the nature of Tiffany's mobile wedding business, Lori was betting that she worked out of her home. Tiffany recited an address in Queens, which Lori immediately typed into Google Maps. It's nothing extravagant, Lori said, making small talk as she hit Street View on her computer to get a look at the address. Just some souvenirs from our various shows. That's so nice of you. Lori was looking at a brick Tudor on her screen, definitely a residence. We'll send it right out, she said. I think I know that area of Queens. Forest Hills? A lovely neighborhood. It's actually my grandmother Molly's home, where she raised me. I moved back in when she needed some help, but now she's in assisted living. Anyway, it still feels like home. Lori thanked Tiffany for her help again. Her next call was to Charlotte. Hey there, I was just thinking of calling you. Charlotte said. Time for a drink after work? I'm dying to hear about your date with Alex last night. It was perfect. In fact, we're going out tonight too. So I'll have to take a rain check on drinks. Her rain checks were adding up. My loss, but I'm so happy for you. You've been putting on a strong face, but I could tell you missed him. I don't have time to meet for a drink, but I would like to borrow you for a couple of hours if you have time. It's another favor for the show. The last time you recruited me worked out on my end too. I'm hiring Marco Nelson to handle security for our spring fashion show. I'm so glad, Lori said. I felt guilty that I was wasting his time when we asked him to come to your office. Feel better. You did him a favor. Honestly, Charlotte, this job will require more than a few white lies. I essentially need you to pretend you're someone else. The witness isn't dangerous, more an airhead than a threat. I need her to answer some questions, but I totally understand if you're not comfortable getting involved. Don't be silly. It sounds exciting. I love helping you. Play Nancy Drew. Where should we meet? I'll grab a cab and meet you in front of your office in 10 minutes. Whoa, that's soon, but I can make it work. Sorry for the rush, but the person we need to see is definitely home right now, so we have to hurry. Lori disconnected, wondering and hoping she'd have the truth about Tiffany in time for her dinner with Alex. Hi, Mom and Ali. How are you? Junaid. Is that your name? Junaid? How are you doing? Thank you for joining. We just finished chapter 61. Chapter 62 is short, so we'll finish that as well. How are you guys doing? Suji and Fuji are on the counter. We have a cat Gap show modeling going on. It's like a Gap model, you know? Alex stared at the draft document he had been carrying around for nearly 2 weeks now. An aide from Senate Judiciary Committee had phoned this morning, warning that his nomination could be stalled if they did not start the necessary background check immediately. He had promised to send the document by tomorrow morning. Every section was complete except for one question. Please provide biographical information for any individuals who serve a role similar to or comparable to those listed in parts A and B above, and regardless of legal affiliation or formal definitions of family. Such as intimate partners, part-time roommates, financial dependents, whether or not adopted, etc. Alex rotated his chair, wiggled the mouse of his computer to wake it up, and pulled up the document on his computer. He typed in 3 people: Lori Moran, Timothy Moran, and Leo Farley. He knew the dates of birth for Lori and Timmy from memory and looked up Leo's online. He had only shared one dinner with Lori after weeks of silence, but if he had to answer the question right now... Sorry about that. Whoops. Sorry. Let me read that for you again. He typed in 3 people: Lori Moran, Timothy Moran, and Leo Farley. He knew the dates of birth for Lori and Timmy from memory and looked up Leo's online. He had only shared one dinner with Lori after weeks of silence, but if he had to answer the question right now, he was betting on a future with the woman he loved. Aww. That was chapter 62. Alex just put their names in. Yay. Oh wow, chapter 63 is super short. It's 1 page. We will read it as well. Chapter 63. Johnny Hunt sat behind the wheel of his department-issued Impala. He was across the street from Wakeling Development's corporate offices. He had already run the plates of the cars in the reserved spots closest to the entrance. The black Range Rover with the personalized plate Wake 2 belonged to Carter Wakeling. He looked at his watch. It was 3 minutes after 5. Virginia Wakeling's son hadn't struck Hun as the hardest working man when he had gotten to know the family during the investigation. If he had to guess, Carter wouldn't stay in the office much longer. Sure enough, he walked to his car 2 minutes later and started the engine. He had gained a few pounds in the almost 3 years since Hun had seen him last, but still looked youthful for his age. He also looked anxious. When Carter rolled out of the parking lot, Hun followed, keeping a half block's distance. Hi, Swatchy. Hi, Mama. Swatchy is visiting Mom's reading. We're on chapter 64. So we just finished chapter 63. I think we'll pick up chapter 64 tomorrow at tomorrow's live, which will definitely shoot to be live tomorrow by like 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Boston time. Yeah, we just finished 63. We'll pick it up from 64 tomorrow. Heike says, thank you for book time. Happy afternoon. See you tomorrow. Yes. Thank you so much, Heike, for joining. Thank you so much for joining. And staying and listening. We don't have a lot left. We are almost towards the end. We're almost at the end of this book. Suji. See you tomorrow. So we will we'll hang out for a few minutes here now, but we will start around 2 p.m. Boston time tomorrow. So I do hope to see you there. I do hope to see you there. Kitties are taking their naps and chilling. Here's my head massager and Suji. Let me share the live again and see you tomorrow, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Thank you. We're gonna start from chapter 64 tomorrow. And their food is about to fall. Look at that. They hear that thing so fast. They know the snack is about to fall even before it happens. Let me give you a new bowl, Fuji. Oh, there's water in the kitchen. Fuji has been a little bit naughty with the water bowl. Share, Baji. Baji usually eats the most and doesn't always share. So I wanted to make sure Fuji has his bowl. Oh boy. It was lovely to meet everybody today. I thought we did good. We made some new friends, I believe, from across the world. We chatted, we did more book reading, we made more progress with the book. It was nice. Suji, what's wrong? What's wrong? What is it, baby? Here you go. You have your bowl. Fuji? Baji, you're not sharing. That's why they're being weird. Because you're a little aggressive when you eat. Oh, my poor babies. Actually, they can't see very well. They don't see clothes very well. Also, Heike, I realized that the timestamps work better when we put like a colon in between the numbers. Instead of a period, it becomes a link. So I did that for one of the videos. I did the timestamps. Actually, I used your timestamp numbers and then just put a colon to make them links that people can jump to. So I really appreciate all your work with doing the timestamps. But if we could please put the colons, then it would become like a link. Thank you. Let me do this. Put this right here. Hi. Suji. Suji's a good girl. It's a good girl. It's a good girl. She's a good girl. Suji's a good girl. Hi, Fuji. Oh, Fuji. Fuji, you want lap time? Fuji wants lap time. I think I'm gonna go for a walk. Heike, we also have Sad Cypress by Agatha Christie. Once I'm done reading this book, so there is an abundance of book options for me to read next as well. Don't you worry. Just kind of recovering. Baji, it's Suji's turn right now. Suji's getting cuddles. No, Baji. No, Baji. No, Baji. Baji's always interested in human food. Did you see that? Did you see that? He is interested in theft. All right, we're going to share the live.